Beep, 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 beep. Breaking, just a special. Right, what day is it? It's Sunday, isn't it? Right, so I've just had my first session with the good folkages, me warriors, and it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So, was I not excited? I was excited beyond belief to read the following in the Telegraph: a great success story by Toby Young and the team over at the Free Speech Union. Now. They don't like it up 'em, is what I'll say to you, right? Okay? So let's dig straight in and see what this article says about this particular court case and what the ramifications are for the wokesters, right? Okay, so here we go. The actual thing is called "White Middle-Aged Men Are Bottom of Everything," says bank worker sacked over N-word. Now we all know what the N-word is, right? Carl Borg-Neil, who is dyslexic, awarded £500,000 after court rules Lloyds unfairly dismissed and discriminated against him. That's Lloyd Banks. Lloyd's Bank with the bloody horse. Lloyd's Bank providing fertiliser for roses for 30 years. Lloyd's Bank, right? Carl can't get out his words. Tears fall down his cheeks and he is overcome by an involuntary verbal tic, as if he is choking or has momentarily forgotten how to speak. He is 59-year-old and out of work, having been sacked by his employer, Lloyds Bank, for inadvertently blurting out the N-word during an anti-racism training session, right? Another victim of this cancel culture nonsense, right? Another victim of the wokesters, the critical social justice mob, the HR totalitarian authoritarian monsters that we need to get out of every single organisation in the country, right? This is what it is. An employment tribunal ruled that Lloyds had unfairly dismissed Mr. Borg-Neil and discriminated against him on account of his dyslexia. Hey, Lloyds! How you doing? Lloyds bankers. So, which leads him, his dyslexia means he spurts things out before he loses his train of thought. I know how the man feels. You don't need dyslexia, you just need to be old enough, I think, to do that. He has been awarded damages of £500,000, almost £500,000. Combined with legal costs and tax, the bank faces a bill close to £1 million, right? Now, now, as well as being very good news from the point of view of sending a message to wokesters everywhere and critical social justice nutters everywhere and race and gender nutters everywhere, this also means this bloke's going to have something to retire on, which is great news, right? Great news. And obviously the law firm that were involved, I think they name them later, is to be recompensed for their time, and the Free Speech Union is to be congratulated for getting this to the court in the first place and for supporting Mr. Borg-Neil through it. So... $1 million. The only thing I would say is it's not enough. Sorry, it's not enough. We need punitive damages in this country. That's what we need. There should be 3 or 4 million, really. The cash is of some comfort to Mr. Borg-Neil, a vindication of his campaign to clear his name. What he really wanted, however, was his old job back, and he wishes the bank would simply say sorry for sacking him. Without the apology, the allegation that he is a racist hangs over his head. It's a kind of double-edged sword, he said. When I set out on this legal claim, I said to my mum, if I have to sell my house, I don't care because this is about clearing my name. Lloyds were calling me racist, and that is certainly something I am not and something I have never been. Mr. Borg-Neil was also a Conservative councillor in the local borough council in Andover in Hants. After a career spanning 30 years with Lloyds and its affiliates, Mr. Borg-Neil believes that the bank has treated him like a pariah. He was told not to contact former colleagues and friends in the aftermath of that fateful training session on July the 16th, 2021. It has taken Mr. Borg-Neil more than 2 years to win his compensation through a courtroom ordeal that at one stage risked him being financially ruined, right? So they put him through the ringer. They intended to do that. That's how these people work, right? Look at the post office. We have to deal with these corporates. This is how they work, right? I feel very discriminated against, he said. I often wonder if I wasn't a white middle-aged male, would I have to go through everything I went through? No, you wouldn't, mate. Because if it had been a black 22-year-old critical social justice nut job, they'd let it get away with it. You bet your bottom dollar they'd let it get away with it. He says there is no way of telling. Well, I say that we can divine it from simply what's going on elsewhere. But when I talk to my friends, and as you can imagine, a good many are white, middle-aged and male, what a surprise, right? We all agree that this is the worst thing you can be right now. You're on the bottom of everything. The Employment Tribunal vindicated Mr. Borgnine in a 46-page judgment, which I can't wait to get my Jester mitts on so I can have a look at it, right? In a 46-page judgment that raises serious questions about how major institutions such as Lloyds Bank tackle very sensitive issues that arise during diversity training. Well, first off, there should be no diversity training, right? It has to go. Right? Okay, it has to go. It's nonsense. It was about an hour into the online training session, attended virtually by 100 Lloyds managers. What are they doing? That's ticking boxes. If they wanted people to engage with some kind of ideas about who we are and what we are, they'd be doing it in a room, in reality, with 12 people, not online with 100. You virtue signalling, absolute tick box exercise nut jobs. And your horse. So, it was about an hour into that training when, during a discussion about intent versus effect, this is in essence intent versus effect, which is all about actually words of violence. So they've bought into the whole critical social justice thing at Lloyd's, right? What somebody should have said is, well, that's all right, he's using it in context. But they didn't, right? It gets better, okay? I'm not going to read it all, you can go and do a bit yourself as well. It was about an hour into the online training, and Mr. Borgnine asked how to handle a situation should he hear someone from an ethnic minority use a word that would be offensive if used by someone not of the same ethnicity. Right, that's the same as, reclaiming the word. That's it's a very valid question. When the trainer did not appear to understand the question, well, she wouldn't, would she? Or he wouldn't. I'm betting it's a she. He wouldn't, right? Or she wouldn't want to understand that question at all, would they? Right? So, Mr. Borgnine then, by way of explanation, said the most common example being the use of the N-word in the black community. Unfortunately, he pointed out at the tribunal, the claimant used the full word rather than the abbreviation. So what? It was a discussion about the bloody word. Intent versus these words of violence nutters. Anyway, the bank accepted the comment was made without malice and that the question was valid. The employment judge said Mr. Borgnine's dyslexia was a strong factor causing how he expressed himself in a session and in his use of the full word rather than finding a means to avoid it. The trainer, wait for it, this is just extraordinary. The trainer was left badly distressed and took almost a week off work. What? See? Oh, God. Victim. I want to know who did this training. What was the company that Lloyds brought in so that other organisations can avoid them like the plague? Tell us, please. Who was the company that did the training? Badly distressed and took a week off. Oh, get in the bin, you weak creature. But some colleagues at the training session questioned her reaction. See, it's a her. I didn't know because I'm cold reading. Reacted her reaction. According to one attendant, Mr. Borgnine was very much reprimanded in front of us all the authoritarian, totalitarian nutjob sleep out. And when he tried to apologise or explain, he was threatened with, you will be thrown off the course. Who do these people think they are? Lloyds Bank, who are you in bed with? What's the name of the training company? So that other corporates know to avoid them like the plague because they aren't a training company. They are a church preaching to your employees their critical social justice religion. That's what they are. Lloyds Bank. And yours. Anyway, go and have a look. What, is there anything else that's really meaty? No, she just launched at him, Mr. Borgnine said she immediately went mad. She was basically telling me if I didn't shut up, I would be thrown off the course. So, Mr. Mr. Borgnine, congratulations to you. Congratulations to the FSU. God damn it. I want to know who the training company is. We all do. Right? We all want to know what the training company is. Because they cost Lloyds £1 million. And that's not enough. So let's keep this going. Let's get these cases in front of the judges and we can bring down this critical social justice edifice and race and gender and queer and all the rubbish that goes along with it. Because that's when it really hurts. And the corporates will only pay attention when it really hurts. £1 million's nowhere near enough. All right, but there you go. Just a special. Become a warrior teacher. Come on. Stop messing about. Right, I'll go to the class. See you later.